All right, welcome everyone, and I would just like to start out, Maddie, awesome. It was so good tonight.
Thank you.
Great match, great. You've been so good this summer, and we all love you here, and you're always one of our favorites, and it's great to get you to where you were today and to win that match, and it was fantastic. So, cheers to Madison
Thank you.
Keys. Thank you. Well done.
All right, ready? All right. We'll get to as many questions as possible. I'll get started. Madison, congratulations, Grand Slam champion. Just talk through your emotions right now and reflections on the match.
I'm mostly just really proud of myself to get back to this position and be able to play the way that I played and finish on such a strong note. I'm just really proud of myself, and I didn't always believe that I could get back to this point, but to be able to do it and win it means the world to me.
All right, we'll start with Matt and then Eleanor. Matt?
Well done, Madison. I mean, I know you have nothing to compare it to, but where you sit now, and given like this journey that you've been on in order to get here, I mean, can you reflect at all about like how it feels having gone through all that and to get to this and to sort of get to the top of the mountain this way, rather than maybe if it had happened 8 years ago or something like that? I know it didn't happen, but I'm just sort of curious that, it's sort of the classic idea of, does it make it all worthwhile?
I think everything kind of happens for a reason, and I think for me specifically, I kind of had to go through some tough things, and I think it just kind of forced me to look at myself in the mirror a little bit and try to work on the kind of just internal pressure that I was putting on myself. I felt like from a pretty young age, I kind of felt like if I never won a Grand Slam, then I wouldn't have lived up to what people thought I should have been. And that was a pretty heavy burden to kind of carry around. So I finally got to the point where I was proud of myself and proud of my career with or without a Grand Slam. And I finally got to the point where I was okay if it didn't happen. I didn't need it to feel like I had a good career or that I deserved to be, talked about as a great tennis player. And I feel like finally letting go of that kind of internal talk that I had just gave me the ability to actually go out and play some really good tennis to actually win a Grand Slam.
Okay, Eleanor?
You were in here the other night talking about how you wanted to be inspired by sort of the way Aryna played, and you didn't want to be passive at the big moments, and you wanted to be able to go for your shot. So how proud are you of the way that you finished that match?
Definitely one of the things that I'm most proud of, being able to, at the end, just kind of, I almost felt like I was trying to beat her to it, because if I wasn't going to go for it, I knew she was going to. So it really kind of just pushed me to kind of thread the needle a little bit more. But I just kept telling myself in my head, be brave, go for it, just kind of lay it all out on the line. And kind of at that point, no matter what happens, if I do that, then I can be proud of myself, and just, it just made it a little bit easier.
Okay, Ben and then David. Ben?
I just go back to what you said in your first answer. People have talked about you being a likely Grand Slam champion for a long time, since you were probably I don't know, 11 or 12. Or when's the first time you remember someone saying that about you? And then how did that turn from being like an exciting possibility to feeling like a burden? And then sort of the journey with that whole label over the course of a couple decades of your life almost.
I mean, it definitely started pretty young, probably 11, 12, something like that. And it obviously was meant to be, confidence building and all of that. And I think as I got older and I had gotten close and it didn't happen, and then, you're getting older and you're obviously in the later stages of your career, it kind of feels like, will this ever actually happen? And if it doesn't happen, like, I didn't live up to what everyone told me that I should have done. So I think it almost felt like it went from being something positive to something that was almost like a little bit of a panic of why hasn't it happened yet? Why haven't I been able to do it? And then it started to really kind of weigh on me more, where it was, what if I never do it? Like, if I don't do it, am I considered a failure? So that there was a lot of stuff that I had to like work through personally, just with all of that, just because of all of the pressure that I was putting on myself with that.
Okay, David and then Howard. David?
Over the last year or so, obviously you've been around on the circuit for a while. I just wonder whether there was a moment or a person you spoke to that where it really, the penny dropped and you felt like you feel now that it wasn't all about whether you won a Grand Slam in terms of how you viewed your career. Was there a specific moment?
Lots of therapy. I really kind of bought into it. And I think in the past I had always kind of tried to go the sports therapy route, where it was more about routine and controlling the things you can control and all of that. And I felt like I was always good enough at that. But to really start kind of digging in on how I felt about myself and really being honest with myself about it, it was really hard because I didn't really want to be the person that felt like I was really struggling, but I was starting to really struggle with it. So just being really honest and actually getting help and actually talking to someone. And not just about tennis, but about how I felt about myself. Again, very uncomfortable, and I never really looked to be uncomfortable. So I honestly think that had I not done that, then I wouldn't be sitting here.
Okay, Howard, and then this gentleman in the black up here. Yeah, so Howard.
Congratulations. You mentioned a couple times, I think on court and then now again here, about not always believing. And you thanked your team for always believing and helping you with that. But when did you regain and how that belief that this day might come at some point?
I honestly think through the last year, even with the injuries and some tough losses, I just kind of felt like I was kind of starting to find myself a little bit more, and I was starting to be a little bit more kind of clear-headed and present on court. And I felt like I was starting to get better at problem solving on court in the moment a lot better. And in the past, I kind of felt like sometimes during matches, it was, especially when things started to go awry, that I was almost like not in my own body, and I was kind of looking down at myself, and I felt like I couldn't connect my brain to my body. And I felt like last year I started being able to kind of just be more in the moment and take each point by point instead of kind of panicking and getting a little bit too broad. And I felt like I started playing some good tennis, and I started figuring things out when I wasn't playing great. And then through off season, I just, put in a lot of hard work, and I kind of started to see that things were kind of going more the way that I wanted. And then I just feel like it's one of those things that just slowly keeps building. And all of a sudden, you're winning a bunch of matches in Adelaide, and then you're coming in here. And then I think, winning that match the other night against Iga was really kind of a big hurdle, where I felt like I'd always believed that I could do it, but to do it that way, I think really I thought to myself after the match that I can absolutely win on Saturday.
Okay, this gentleman here, and then Kath and Charlie. Yeah.
Pretty much the same question. Has there been a moment of realization during the tournament where you thought, well, I'm doing pretty fine here because your run was remarkable, especially the last 5 wins?
I don't know if I ever really had like the moment, but I really felt like going into each match that if I could just try to go out, play how I wanted to play, then I was really just going to give myself the opportunity to try to win the match. And I felt like not stressing about things that I couldn't control. I just felt like I was able to play a little bit more free, and I think there was a confidence in maybe not playing matches amazingly from start to finish and having some dips here and there, but being able to kind of end on a really high note each time and figure out how to get back in matches or how to close out a match really well. I just slowly started continuing to build the confidence, and I think part of it was that I never really got ahead of myself in each round. I never once thought about the next round until I was actually there. So I think, yes, I believed that I could do it, but I also think I did a good job at, just focusing on the task at hand.
Okay. Kath, Charlie and Courtney on the side. Kath.
Congratulations. Just hearing you talk about therapy there and the benefits that you've had from it. Obviously, it's a very personal thing, but I just wondered whether you kind of look around you in the locker room and on the tour and think that it should be kind of more widespread or more accepted, or something that should be offered to younger players, or at least talked about as an option for younger players.
I mean, I think the more that we talk about actually using it as a tool, I think people feel more comfortable with it. I do think that the WTA does a great job at having someone at tournaments now that you can go and you can talk to. I think it's not only helpful for myself, but I think it's helpful for a lot of us. And I think the stigma around therapy in general, not just in sports, I think is slowly starting to go away. And I think that everyone should be in therapy no matter what. I think it helps. And I think no matter what's going on in your life, you're going to have moments where things are tough and you need someone to talk to. And I think it's really important. It's something that I will continue to do for the rest of my life. And I think if more people do it and more people talk about it, then it just kind of becomes the norm. It's almost as if you're going to the doctor. No one bats an eye at that. So I think it's just, as an overwhelming, it's just kind of overwhelmingly needed for, I think, most people.
Okay, Charlie and then Courtney, and then we'll have one more. Charlie.
Congratulations. I just wondered, on that point, you mentioned there that you weren't typically somebody who necessarily wanted to be out of their comfort zone. And so with going to therapy, I just wondered, was there a particular prompt or a moment that made you think, either why not just give it a chance, or that things had become so difficult that you thought, I kind of need this?
I think in the past I had done it before, but it had always been, I think, too sports specific. So it was always I kind of always went in with the thought of, will this help me perform better? And I finally got to the point where I was personally low enough that I was like, I don't really care if this helps me perform. I just want to feel better. And I think doing that, it was just kind of that moment where it was like, I don't really care what I have to do. I just want to feel better. So I think it was kind of the thing that it pushes you to say, okay, well, obviously whatever I'm doing is not working. But I think for a long time in my head, I had this idea that people were able to kind of just ignore their nerves or doubts or anything like that and just kind of tunnel vision play tennis. And in the past, if I ever had, nerves come up or something, I typically would not play as well. And so it started getting to the point where when nerves came up, I was thinking, oh no, now I'm going to play badly. And it would almost kind of start this internal panic. And for whatever reason, it was kind of just this light bulb moment where I started really buying into, I can be nervous and I can still play good tennis. Those things can live together. So I stopped fighting, trying to push away the feelings and pretending that they're not there, and just accepting them and really telling myself that they're fine and they're totally normal to be there, and I can still play tennis. And I think doing that day in and day out and just kind of accepting that it's going to be uncomfortable, you're going to be nervous, there's going to be thousands of people watching you, but you can still do it. And then starting to actually be able to do that just kind of started to give me a little bit more confidence.
Okay, we'll do 2 more. Courtney, and then last one here.
Congratulations. Just wondering, there's been some really positive receptions. Sloane Stephens, a couple of others have expressed their delight at your success tonight. I'm wondering what it means to you when you see peers taking genuine joy in your success here. And also, has the phone been running hot? Have you had messages sort of come in left, right and centre?
I've really grown up on the tour, and I've grown up with some other amazing people on this tour, and some of my closest friends also play. So I think we all are very good at cheering each other on, and their wins feel like our wins. So, you know, to be in the position of actually winning and them getting to be the cheerleaders, it feels really nice, just because after all of these years, watching all of my friends do so well, it has always felt like a win for me. So I'm happy that I can repay the favor.
All right, last one here.
Just a question about tomorrow's final. Obviously, Alexander Zverev is a bit in the same position. He's been chasing his first Grand Slam victory for a while. If you could just give him one piece of advice, what would it be?
Against Yannick, I feel like he has better advice to be Yannick than I do. But I mean, I think at some point it's really just kind of letting go of the stress of will I ever win one, and not really worrying about it and just playing tennis. And at the end of the day, that's all you can control, and you can only control your side of the court. So that's all you can focus on. And if you put yourself in that position enough times, then usually good things happen.
Wide World of Sports on YouTube is your home of the tennis this summer.
With highlights of the best matches of the summer of tennis, the on-court interviews and every day with the morning serve, you'll be ahead of the game.
So click that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing this summer.